So let's bring Michael Graham in here. He's the only. Mark and Rob are too young that they don't remember that. But nobody heard the Spamberger speech.
She's a super interesting character.
Wait. What do you think I was doing in 1972?
Yeah.
I'm getting my
were around,
diaper
right?
changed. What are you talking? I don't remember George McGovern in 1970. What are you, crazy? Jeez Louise, man.
Am I the oldest
Come
guy
on.
here?
Cut me some,
I
cut me
do,
some
John.
slack.
I remember. Yeah.
By the way, I just want to say something about being at the log cabin event. There is more support inside the Republican Party for log cabin Republicans than there is for right to work. I think that's a very important thing to point out. I just watched right to work flame out in New Hampshire, where they have like a 40-vote Republican majority in the House because of the new construct for the Republican. The Republican coalition is different. So my sympathy is with Mark trying to fight for right to work principles in the new era. It's a totally different era.
Yeah.
So what happened in New Hampshire?
They have a they have a 40-seat Republican majority. They've been trying to pass right to work for years, and it got killed yet again this year because Republicans jumped the aisle because there's just not they don't have solid support. You got this group of, and I'd like to know what you guys think this is accurate, Trump Republicans who don't support right to work, who believe that union workers should have this additional leverage. And so they're not on board. And so what's been fascinating is as Trump has grown in popularity, the vote for right to work has declined. They actually got closer to passing it when they had a tiny majority because it was a traditional Republican libertarian leaning majority. Now they have a bigger majority, but less support for right to work.
Okay,
we got beat by 10 votes, and the 10 votes came from Coas County up north in
That's right.
How am I supposed to say it? Berlin? No, I'm not supposed to say Berlin.
Berlin. It's Berlin.
Berlin. I got to say Berlin.
When I moved to New England a few years ago, everything was like I had to relearn English. They refused to speak American English. What do you mean it's Peabody? It's Peabody. Come on. No, it's Peabody. I'm sorry. Yes.
So we got the governor, we got the Senate, and we lost by 10 votes in the House, and those were Republican votes. Basically, 381 of the 400 members showed up to vote that day, Michael. If we want to get perfect attendance in New Hampshire, bring up the right to work bill.
Yeah. Exactly right. My point is, do you agree that the Republican Party that is emerging from 2016 to today is a party that's more focused on organized labor, more focused on, and it's a premise of tariffs. The premise of tariffs is consumers should pay a little more so that workers can make a little more. That's the trade-off.
Yes.
And that's the new party.
Yeah, the idea of right to work is not impinging on your right to join unions. It's the impingement on the unions being able to fire you if you keep your job.
Whoa.
No one told me that's getting better all the time, Michael. Our vote
no one told me there would be reasonable policy discussions here. I come to the Frederick Show for partisan shotgun throwdowns.
Coming at me now.
No, look. Obviously, you're correct. It is not in any way stop someone from joining a union. The point is, organized labor says right to work is evil. We want to stop it and fight it. And that part of their coalition is growing inside the Republican Party. Here's what's interesting to me, and I want to ask all of you. What's going to happen after 2028 when we have a Democratic president, because we will, and the issue of tariffs comes up? I've been listening to all these Democrats telling me, oh, tariffs are terrible. I hate tariffs. I'm not old enough to remember George McGovern, Fredericks, but I do remember, I am old enough to remember, 6 minutes ago when Democrats loved tariffs on behalf of their organized labor constituency.
Yeah, because now,
they said tariffs were great, and Reagan was evil for supporting free markets, and free trade is unfair trade. Are these Democrats going to suddenly be reborn free marketers, or are they going to be right back in the tariffs?
First of all, by the way, Michael Graham, managing editor, Inside Sources.
That's right.
So just introduce you properly in the show here, and it is a serious policy discussion. Well, listen,
I did not sign up for that. That's not me.
Unless Marco Rubio changes to the Democratic Party, you're going to have a Republican president in 28.
No, you're not.
Rubio is going to win.
Mark the tape right now. You are not going to have a Republican president in 2028. Name the last time a single party had 4 cycles in a row of the same. It's never happened. Never. Except
we had Biden. What the hell are you talking about?
No. Donald Trump was the psychological president of the United States for that 4 years. He was right in everyone's face. He lived in our head. I don't want my tariff money back. I want a check from him for the rent in my head, for the space in my head. And so Trump's second term is Trump's third term. You are not going to get a fourth term. It has nothing to do with Trump.
We're going to
disagree.
We're going to disagree on that. Rubio is going to be the next president. He's going to win the nomination. Lasavita is going to cry. He'll get over it. It's going to be Rubio. But when you're putting right to work in its coffin, okay, Virginia, which is controlled now by the furthest left-wing radicals, as bad as California, Spanberger has already said, and I don't even think right to work, did it even get out of committee, Mark?
It didn't, John. No, it didn't.
No, it never even got out of committee because they understand if you scrap right to work in Virginia, it's going to cost 250,000 jobs. The state is going to dry up. Nobody will come here. Businesses will go to North Carolina, West Virginia. They'll go somewhere else. They all know that, South Carolina. So it never got out of committee. So it is alive and well in a radical environment, right? Now, what we're trying to get rid of in Virginia is this collective bargaining for public, for public official, for the public sector, with a third-party arbitrator that basically can raise your taxes on any day. That's insane.
And here's what I find fascinating about that. Now, by the way, I lived in Falls Church. I love Virginia. It's a great place. If I didn't live in New England, I would live in Virginia. I love Virginia. But so why is it the case that you've got a Democrat-led state in the South that clings to right to work, and then you've got this Republican state? It's federal Democrat, but Republican, solidly Republican at the state level in New Hampshire. And the answer is geography. This is one of the things I think that we forget. We think that partisan politics, because we're in this moment of heightened partisan politics, is everything. But the fact is, Breitbart was right. Politics is downstream of culture. And the culture of the South is anti-organized. A man or woman want to show up at work, and you're not going to tell me if I'm going to join the union. You're not going to tell me. That's the culture. Because I grew up in South Carolina. That's the culture of the South. Whereas in New England, you have this very much organized labor, fight the man, I don't trust these, the mean old management, whatever types, Bedford Falls, It's a Wonderful Life. That's the culture. And these cultures matter. And one of the things I think is going to hurt Republicans over the next in the post-Trump backlash, once again, not because he's Trump, everybody gets a backlash. There was a backlash to, Reagan HW. We're a country that does this. And I think Republicans need to think about what kind of candidates can I find that reflect the culture of the place I'm in.
Yeah, Mark Rubio. You can't filibuster, Michael. You know what your problem is, Michael?
What's that?
Your problem is you don't remember George McGovern. See, if you remembered McGovern, this would all change. Because then you would understand, you would really understand what's going on, because you never really got to George McGovern, who ended up being, at the end of his life, a capitalist conservative. Right. Here's a guy that wanted to give everybody $1,000 that made it under a certain income, and he thought that was going to win him the election. He's going to give everybody $1,000 and then tax rich people back. And everybody thought, wow, what a great idea. Well, he got swamped, and when they did the exit polls, the people that he was going to give $1,000 to said, one day I want to be rich too, and I don't want to be taxed that money because I want to climb the ladder. That's why his campaign imploded. And then he ran a bed and breakfast in Vermont and became a Reagan Republican under the table. Right. That was George McGovern.
Even more embarrassing, in the 1976 primaries, he came in, I think it was 6th in New Hampshire. I think, in fact, he basically dropped out he went from being the nominee to not even being on the ballot, for the primary. And of course, who won that primary 50 years ago this month?
Carter.
Jimmy Carter,
yeah.
1976.
And then he won.
And would go on and become one of the worst presidents in the history of the United States.
So you do remember Carter.
Yeah, of course I do. I remember Carter.
Mark, I'm going to give you the final word here. Mark, how do we defeat this thing in Virginia? Because it's a monstrosity.
Well, the taxpayers of Virginia need to understand what's going on, and they need to contact their legislator. Most importantly, contact the governor, because that's maybe where it's going to end up on her desk. And whatever form it ends up in, it's going to have mandatory bargaining most likely as part of the final lowest level of what they've got in the bill right now, which is soup to nuts, everything: card check unionization, binding arbitration, all kinds of interesting stuff on impasse resolution. So they got to contact their legislator. This is how we do government in America. We get involved and get engaged, and we know what our legislature's doing, hopefully. And if we don't like it, we got to take action. So that's
all right. Here's what everybody does that hates this as much as I do. Go to virginiarighttowork.com. You got to spell that out. virginiarighttowork.com. There's a petition there. You can sign it. And here's what we do. It's turnkey operation. The Frederick Show, turnkey, baby. We take that petition. We send it wherever your address is. We send it to your House of Delegates member. You don't have to do anything. Then we send it to your state senator. You don't have to do anything. Then we send truckloads of it to Spanberger's desk at the Capitol. We dump it there. You don't have to do anything. And she and her staff can sift through our petitions. Action, action, action. That's all you have to do. Mark, thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Michael.
guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. We'll get New Hampshire. Stick around.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, we got the Virginia gang. Thank you. You guys want to hang with us? You want to hang, or you have to?
I got meetings.
All right, you guys got to go. The Virginia gang is next. A very lively segment. Michael Graham wishes he knew George McGovern like I do. Would have changed his life. Even though my parents voted for Richard Nixon. My father said McGovern was I think he was a bomber pilot.
Was he?
Yeah.
I wasn't even born in 1972, I'm afraid.
I remember my father stayed up to watch that at 1:20 in the morning. That's all I remember. He was a Richard Nixon voter, hated the Democrats, hated McGovern, Union leader for Nixon. So he was Union.
Right.
It was in New York City, and he was part of there was a movement, Unions for Nixon. I don't know. All I remember is him taking me there on his shoulders, or holding my hand a while back. All right, thank you guys. Virginia Gang's next. You're on the John Fredericks Media Network. Stay with us.